You're listening to Polymatic.media, episode 70 for June 2020. Welcome to the Polymaticast. Hey, John, how's it going?
It is good.
So I guess I see this other thing if you guys want to follow along at home, polymatic.link/show70. That's where our links are. And things we'll probably eventually discuss. So it's a little crazy.
Yeah.
At least in the U.S. I can't speak for the rest of the world. It's a little crazy. I think it's hot everywhere.
Yeah, well, I don't really want to go into the whole mess that is the USA right now.
I think this is a topic. It's not necessarily a tired topic, but it's a topic you can't escape. But we cannot talk about it here, and that's cool. That's fine. That could be one of the few places in the world where you don't hear about it again.
Yeah. Well,
but it is a capture point for us historically, I guess, so that anyone who goes back through time to listen to Polymatic and you say, oh, what was the Polymatic show where they talked about the thing, but they didn't talk about the thing?
This isn't a current events show.
Right, yeah, so. Sure, absolutely. But outside of that, there's been lots of storms around here, and it's clear that the planet wants to eradicate us. I mean,
2020 is not a great year.
Yeah, lots of things not great about it. Okay, so moving on. Hi, how you doing other than that?
I got some toys, so we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
So yeah, besides that, been watching some shows. Shows.
Yeah, kind of. Me too.
Yeah, so we should probably talk about that one.
Okay.
And what else? I did some selling of gear, so that was interesting, especially
to buy new toys.
No, actually, after I bought the new toys. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, still in the effort to buy the new toy. I mean, you weren't going to hold on to the old gear if you didn't have room or need for it, right?
Yeah. But usually you if you were buying the new gear, you needed the money to get the new gear, but you have to sell the old gear to get the new gear.
Right. Yeah.
That was not the situation here. I bought the new gear and then I sold the old gear. Okay. Well, should I start off with the stuff that I bought for a change?
Yeah.
Instead of
talk about your toys.
Listening to your Tesla talk for an hour.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not talking about it. It's upgrading anyways now.
Yeah.
It's getting an upgrade.
Yeah. Okay, so I bought the Cintiq 24 Pro. It's glorious. It has a fan, so it's noisy. So I had to turn it off. I love it, and I also hate it. But you'll get that in the links later.
Yeah, I watched a couple of those links. Yeah.
There is a problem with every model that the Wacom comes out with these days. They don't have buttons. They don't come with a stand. They have this matte glass finish. So either it's a sticker on top of it or it's just etched glass. And that's kind of a bummer. Most of the problems can be fixed. You can buy the stand, of course, which is like for the 24 is like another $600. They make fun of Apple for the stand, but somehow Wacom has never ever gotten crap for this. Like Apple, they were like, oh, $1,000 for a stand for a monitor. Brr.
These things are pretty expensive, so I mean, this isn't a very large. Obviously, they have existed for such a long time, and they make products and they put new things out. So they clearly are making money. But would you say that this product is more for professionals or people who are very enthusiastic about like the side thing that they do, like artists, right? Like it's, for example, most people don't go around and buy a 10,000 DLSR. That's just not something what most people do. This is a very expensive, specifically designed tool to do very specific things. probably from Wacom's perspective, this is where I was getting at, is it's probably a product for professionals.
Yeah, but the problem is that with that is that in the past they have delivered their tablets with keys on them, with stands, with a glossy screen.
Got ya.
I mean, and they recently started doing the other way around, where they just, they have a matte glass screen for the paper-like feel, right? Or without the stand, because, I don't know, it was too expensive to put the stand in there. I just don't understand why it has to cost $600 to put a stand. And they remove the keys from the tablet, so that's a bit of a problem, because it used to be really handy to have those keys on the side.
Mm-hmm.
So you have them on both sides, and now you have just one express key remote thing that you can buy and have to charge because it's a remote. It's a Bluetooth thing.
Yeah, I saw one of the videos that you'll share later.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I bought it and I was very happy with it. Then I bought some screen protectors to get rid of the matte screen to make it glossy.
Right. Okay.
And with the matte screen removed, it's wonderful.
Was that easy to do?
It was very easy to do. I used a screen protector from a company called Atfolix.
Okay.
They're on Amazon, and I bought a pack of 2 because I was like, yeah, I might mess this one up because it's such a big screen. And I bought it for the Cintiq 16 too. But the installation was very easy. I didn't have much trouble. Really enjoyed it. Afterwards, the installation, I had to clean it thoroughly because I had it for a few days without the screen protector. Actually, I ordered the screen protector first, and then the actual tablet.
Right. Okay,
so I'd have it on the same day, but that didn't happen. And I installed it. No bubbles. I did have to remove, I had to lift up the screen protector once to remove one of there was a piece of lint that was in it. And I was in the wrong location. Okay. I was like, it's on the side, but I'm going to be very annoyed with this if I don't remove it. So yeah.
Yeah,
I had to do it.
It's the same thing with things you get from where you put laptop skins or something, and it has to be perfectly aligned. And
but there
I'm the worst.
You can use
I'm the worst with these things.
You can use one of those hair dryers to heat it up, right? So to make it the what's that name?
Sure, but if you trap a bubble in the middle of the whole thing, right? So my point is that I'm the worst with these things. So I was very happy, and I think I only bought one. When I got the car and I put a screen protector on the touch screen in the car, I got it. I think I got it just right, and it just went in, and I don't think I got any bubbles or anything. There might be some, I noticed some artifact or something, but that's fine. Now it's not matte, I don't think. I do get some reflection off the thing, but the goal was to put a screen protector on there, not necessarily to change the state of look, but just to protect the screen. However, you hit the right reflection and the right lighting, and you can see fingerprints
everywhere.
Yeah, when I'm in the carport and I pop in the car, I was like, oh, fingerprints.
You have to have a bottle of Windex in your car just to clean the.
I have
clean the
something, but
console.
it's meant for getting bird stuff off the car, and I haven't, especially with the way things are going on around now and money and whatnot. It is just not the most priority thing. But I'm gonna get the car sort of, graphite wrapped or ceramic wrapped at some point just to protect it.
And
also to
something
protect
like a
my
clear or something.
There are these sort of, have you heard of vinyl wraps and stuff that? Okay, so they have I think the new thing is graphite now, not graphene, but a graphite wrap.
There's something called a clear bra, which is you can have your original color, but it's plastic outside to protect the paint.
I know a place to contact. I've not done it yet because I know generally I have a rough idea of the starting cost, and it's at least a couple $1,000s. Before they do that work, they don't just seal up the problems. They'll go in and they'll fix little things before they, because they have to kind of take part of your car apart to be able to put the wraps on.
So one of the people that I follow on YouTube is called Captain Sparkles.
Right.
And
Okay.
he also has like his own vlog channel where he has, mostly car stuff.
Yeah.
So he has a couple of very nice cars. And he had like one of his cars where he wrapped it, and then he wanted to sell the car, and they had to take the wrap off, and it took some of the paint with it. So you might want to think about that before you put a wrap on it.
Yeah, so I think the ceramic and the graphite things, they come off pretty easily and they come off cleanly. So you say that, but also the goal is to protect the car. And I'm not like looking to change the color. I want it to be the same color. So,
you're not going for the hot pink Tesla?
No.
That's not your thing?
Or flames on it.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be
The flaming
with
duck hole,
flames
right?
on a Tesla. Oh, that'd be funny.
You're-
I had the thought the other day, which I didn't even Google, but like if someone's needs a boost for their car, because the battery is dead, I like. How would I do that with Tesla? One, I don't even have charge cables with the car right now, and two, I know the Model S's have like a 12-volt starter, just as like a backup thing.
No, that's for the electronics.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yeah.
so, but I don't know what they would do for, I don't think a Tesla could help give someone a boost.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole car is a big old battery. It could technically do it, but I don't know what the possibility of that is.
They do have that new Cybertruck thing. Maybe that has like a because it has an output port on the back for like charging your electric off-road dune buggy thingy, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But it was just a thought. I was like, huh.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Yeah,
bought
sorry.
Cintiq 24. Then I decided, okay, well, I'm happy with the way it is right now. I'm going to sell my Cintiq 16. So I put it on the local eBay and sold it pretty quickly. I did reduce the price a little bit because I had it for like $550, and I was like, okay, I'll just lower it a little bit because I didn't get any responses. And then somebody bought it for $500. So I was, yeah. And
That's
I
good.
I put a little, in my hallway of my apartment, I put a little table, put a power cord to it, and so I could display it in the hallway, so they didn't have to go into my apartment, stuff like that. It was a bit of a thing. And then
Gaia, because of C19.
And then even though I said like I wanted to not have cash, they came in with cash.
Yeah, I've been
So
making an
next day-
active effort to use GPay everywhere. Yeah.
I had to go into the city to deposit the money, which is a bit of a drag, but it's fine. It's fine. And now I have to decide if I want to buy a stand or not. Stand is $600. I was like, yeah, I'll buy the stand later because
wait. Can you 3D print yourself something good?
Can
you
I think it's
design
gonna
and
match
3D
up
print?
with the thing that Wacom itself produced because the Wacom stand is pretty good. Like you can say a lot about it, but it's not the Apple stand, right? It's not a piece of metal. That's it. It actually has like stuff to rotate it and keep the wires from being caught in things, and it's a really good.
So
stand.
it's sort of like a monitor stand that can go really low profile.
No, it has like these. Those cars where they have like these paddles on the side, like the race cars, like the paddle shifters.
Okay.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that, and they have like
interesting.
you can if you pull them towards you, you can lower the orientation, and the other side raises the rotation. So you can rotate it left, rotate it right. So you can have like draw at a certain angle that's more suitable for you.
Okay, so you definitely couldn't 3D print something. There's got to be some actual engineering in there. It's just not like one piece of titanium.
You don't want to bind these cables somewhere because it's like, yeah, they're gonna break.
Right, yeah, I got you. Okay.
I did put it up. I have a a video card that can do DisplayPort. So I put it on the DisplayPort, and it's 4K. So yeah, certain programs are sluggish, I would say. I don't have the most like recent PC for the art stuff, so I might have to, instead of buying the stand, I might just spend that money on buying my new components for the PC, or just replacing the motherboard and a CPU and memory.
Yeah,
With
I'm
like a
trying to
recent.
recall when I got my laptop. I mean, it hasn't hit an age point. I mean, obviously, there's some things that would be really nice to have. I know I'm at least 2 generations with the chip behind. So my brain wants to say 2017, if not 2018. I think it's a 2017 model, and I got it somewhere in 2017. So yeah, I mean, and mine gear gets old fast.
Well, if I had the money, I would switch back to Mac, and you know, and I pay for like Photoshop, so I could just switch back to Photoshop
Mm-hmm.
to do art. But there's like some parts of the software that I use, like Clip Studio, and it doesn't work as nicely on Mac for some reason. Although I could probably get used to it, but getting a Mac for that is going to be expensive, because you'd need like something like a Mac Pro or something. Because using a MacBook for this, hooking this up to like your MacBook and then unplugging it every single time and stuff, you need something that's like stuck to the desk. And like a PC would probably be better because it's cheaper. But I really like the OS, and I like the way the file handling is done and stuff. So probably I would like to have a Mac machine for that. But just saving some more money, and then eventually just buy a Mac Pro.
Well, if you didn't buy this, you would have bought it. You could. Well, it would have been a good starting point for a Mac.
Oh
They are
yeah,
pricey.
no, it's not even close to the Mac Pro price.
Oh, really?
No, I think Mac Pros start at $5K or something.
Oh, okay. So you're talking like
Not
you're
a
not talking
MacBook
like
Pro.
iMac. Not like you're not talking iMac Pro. You're like talking the new cheese grater.
Yeah, the cheese grater. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
I wouldn't buy an iMac Pro because it's too. There's like a screen attached to it. It's kind of too big.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
The real question is, if you bought the iMac Pro, would you spend the extra for its wheels?
I would probably 3D print my own wheels. So yeah, the Mac Pro starts at €6,499. So let's say
okay.
6,500 euros.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not spending that money. That's too much for a computer.
But you want to.
No, I don't. No, I don't. If anything, I would buy a MacBook Pro and permanently hook that one up. But then streaming would be harder because it's just it's mobile CPUs. It's not meant to be that hot for that long. Like a PC, you can cool properly. You can add some water cooling and stuff to get rid of the heat. But for a MacBook, streaming on a MacBook is hard. It's
Well, you can get yourself like the ATM Mini
the what?
or the Mini Pro, and you could send stuff right to Twitch or YouTube.
The what?
ATEM Mini Pro from Blackmagic. You haven't seen this thing?
Is it like a capture card thing?
It's basically so in my brain, from film and television, I call it SCG, but basically it's a switcher.
Yeah.
And allows you to bring in HDMI inputs. You have a couple mic inputs that you can use as the overall. And then the Pro version has Ethernet on it. The Ethernet, actually, I think they both have Ethernet, but the Pro can utilize that through software that you could hook up on your Mac, let's say, and you can engage it and tell it like what your Twitch directly is or your YouTube directly is, and it'll go from the device straight up. You wouldn't go through OBS. You could through that with the USB-C. You could bring it in like a webcam, and so you could do all your major stuff through that and let the stream be low profile, to something like a MacBook. So it's not really processing as much as it's sort of just, sort of proxying the stream
Yeah.
data up.
So the problem with that is that the Mac outputs, so the output video, you cannot turn off HDCP. So you can't turn off the hardware content protection stuff. So you cannot capture from a Mac on over HDMI unless you have like a splitter.
Gaia. But
and
you could,
and then it's 4K, so that's another problem. These things don't do 4K. Right?
okay, so you could take does the Wacom have actual output like
No.
attached to it?
No, it has it has a DisplayPort in, it has a HDMI in, and it has a USB-C in.
Okay. All right, so it's output only, so you'd have to do an overhead or something. Shot.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. Not sticking my face on the internet.
Well, no, it's not so much that as you do an overhead shot of you drawing. I mean, that's what other people are doing today. They have something that's sort of rigged above them and is pointing down, just like when people do unboxings and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Except they have it super focused in the area where they're drawing.
Yeah, but not for artwork. From the streams that I watch, it's mostly people just capturing on their machines.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's just OBS capturing screens. Also, I don't want
Gaia.
to like capture the entire screen and then stream out that part because I have like Spotify on it and stuff like that. I just don't want to stream that stuff.
Right, I got it.
Yeah, it's. I've been looking into like hooking up like a capture card in between and then sending it to my other PC because the other PC is like an Intel machine, just much faster. I'm also looking into like grabbing my game PC, putting that as my art PC, and then just making a new game PC.
I mean, I think you could. I think you have enough gear literally in the same room that you're in right now that you probably could do it. I think you need a little supplemental thing. So, like, if you took the Blackmagic design, ATEM Mini, you could take that to bring in the channel of the data without buying a capture card. And that will allow you to switch to different cameras or different points of view. You could hook up your tablet to your gaming PC. You could take its output. You could bring that into the ATEM. We enunciate, and then bring that in and take its USB output and bring that in like a webcam to something where you could then channel it in through OBS, and then you could do your adjustment of cropping where you want parts of the screen, and then whatever information displays that you want to put up, and then do the streaming on that.
I know how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been streaming for a while now.
Yeah,
but
I'm just saying is like I think you can sort it out if you.
Yeah,
really
I
I
have a capture card for like the Switch. Like I have my Switch hooked up to a capture card.
Right.
So I could like do like a stream with Animal Crossing or something like that. A problem is that those 4K ones are a little bit more expensive, and I don't fancy like spending $300 for a capture card.
Yeah.
And then I'd have to like reorganize my entire workspace. So yeah, I need to. For now, streaming on this is fine. As soon as I'm done with the book, I'll rejigger the entire thing. Probably.
Yeah, I mean,
build a new PC, and then I don't have to get a capture card for it because then I can just stream because it's a monster machine and it will just do whatever I want.
I definitely have always, over the years, thought about doing live streaming again. I sort of did it in a very cheap manner with webcams and very ineffectively.
It was interesting for a time, to see.
Very ineffectively way back when none of these streaming options were, the only options were like professional ones and very, very super expensive ones I couldn't afford. So, I think in my brain, I think the ATEM Mini Pro is probably where I might go with that. And I don't know. I mean, the system we talk through right now, to talk to each other for this show. That's not. There's nothing. That thing is years old. I'd be surprised if it can handle it. But if it's handling it like just streaming a webcam and it's fine, then it's fine. But that whole idea in my head would be for upstairs, not necessarily for this room. And if I had spent all that money for this room and there was no one here but me, which is what's going on lately because we're all staying home right now, it wouldn't bear its value to me, right?
Yeah.
But for me upstairs, I think there's going to be some part of me with like the project I never talk about. I will get there. I will eventually have some motivation not to play Animal Crossing on my weekend, and I'll sit down and start programming again. But with that being said, I'll probably stream some of that. I'm gonna want a camera on me. I'll probably use my actual camera, and I got enough of that gear and all that stuff. I need some couple of rigs or whatever to make that process a little better. And eventually, I might even do some editing. Maybe not while I'm editing the show. I've always sort of wanted to keep that captive for release. There's no really good, unless you're using like Crowdcast or something, there's no private way to stream to, let's say, your patrons. But I thought about like maybe editing, doing the edit, right?
Well, if you want to do
some people are going to find that interesting.
If you want to do a stream for your patrons only, we should probably talk about that off the air, and we could probably set something up.
Right, and the only thing I would do for that is, hey, I'm editing right now, and people could see the edit, right? And it would be patrons only could see the edit. So I think that would be interesting to people because I certainly have had friends who were watching me edit, just before the show or something, and they were like, yeah, no, I just was like transfixed on what he was doing. Like he's just going right through the thing, and it's just, and like I hear him talking to other people behind me, like as if I'm not in the room, but they're watching me. And I'm like, okay, guys, could you I need my ears.
Well, there's options for like stuff like that because you could do like private streams on a platform called Picardo, so you can set it to like password only, and then you just post those password.
That's what you guys use for art. Yeah, I mean, I know of one you can pay for, which is like called Crowdcast. So that's where you have some moderation and whatever.
I think the private streams is premium only, so you have to pay like $15 a month or something.
Right. Okay. Got you.
But if you do like 4 of those stream sessions, I mean.
I think some people would find it interesting. I don't know that it's, a million people are going to find that interesting, but the kind of thing is I only do the edits when I need to do the edits. I am not normally doing that kind of thing for show. Unless it's quit the day job and can be like Captain Sparkles and have a bunch of cars and a nice big house. Like, unless I live in that kind of universe, I am not going to be redoing an edit for the sake of redoing an edit,
Well, you could do like an episode of the Polymaticast.
I could. Yeah. We could both do our stream and then see who is victorious in the votes.
The last episode, I spent like 9 hours editing everything. I don't know why. Yeah, well, I had to do it twice, so that was kind of a bit of a letdown.
Okay.
So that was an issue, and I had to take out a lot of ums. I got transfixed with like, oh, there's an I need to take it out, and I took out like 99% of the ums. Also,
I noticed, be conscious not to say any.
Oh yeah, that would be wonderful, wouldn't it? There's like a point in the edit where it's like the ums go away. It's like as soon as like the conversation goes on, it's like a little bit meta here, but as soon as like we get like 30, 40 minutes in, then the ums go away. It's really funny.
I have noticed a lot of trends through editing OG, and then there are certain people who have very bad habits, and they're very consistent about it. For some people, the things, the that kind of stuff gets sort of slurred right underneath something else into the next word or the next phrasing. Some people use it. It's like the flag that they wave.
I want to
And
speak. I want to speak. Yes.
yeah. And so it's that kind of thing. And I get it. It's basically a little sort of it's like the little blinking light, on your hard drive,
Yeah.
right? I get it. It's the seeking thinking mechanism, and there's variations of it, and everyone has a variation of it. I probably have gotten better about it. I have a tendency, I learned a habit from my stepmother, completely separated from all this stuff about speaking, where she pauses. Sometimes she does it in a way that's really interesting. She will pause from a conversation. She'll just walk out of the room. And then maybe days later she'll come back at you with a continuation of a point. And you could have multiple conversations days between. I'm not that person, but I also learned that there's a moment to stop, let your thoughts settle, sort out, and then make your point.
It's eating you alive, isn't it? Saying not trying to say
I am generally conscious of it, but obviously, you get off. I don't. You said you took a lot of those out.
Oh yeah,
the question
so many.
is, who was it? Me or was it you?
It was you.
It was probably me.
Your Tesla talk was full of them. I was like,
probably because I was just sort of spitballing off the
you-
top of my head.
Well, that's the thing. People do that when they're thinking about the thing that they want to say but haven't formulated their answer yet. And the thing you said to me a long while back while I was in Philadelphia, saying, just pausing and not trying to actually say, it's hard. But
and that's the thing I learned from my stepmother, to pause for a moment, just collect those thoughts, let them rush by, and then have your point, assuming that you still have the floor. The unique thing about this is when everyone's in the room, they have a dedicated mic. And I will point out Jefferson is a perfect example. I've had to constantly remind him. I said, Jefferson, you're in the room. We are not going to trample on you. You could raise your hand if you feel like it's necessary. You have a mic. You don't need to interject to keep interjecting so that you eventually have a moment where we're all focusing on you. And then when we do focus on you, you don't follow through. So, I mean, the only criticism is just you have a mic. You're in a dedicated seat. You got a dedicated opportunity to have a conversation with us. Just make sure that you choose when you do it and just do it. And have your thoughts completed and ready to have a conversation to sell your point. Don't just yeah, side commentary, blah blah blah. Now pay attention to me. Oh, but let me tell you something random about Doctor Who, because it makes no sense about us talking about butchers, right? And so that's kind of the tactic he used to have, whether he's aware of it or not. And it's interesting. Anyhow, we diverged completely from your Cintiq.
It's fine. It's fine. It's like,
And these tangents
go.
were not completely my fault. Well, you'll find out in the recording.
Yeah, I wonder where it diverged.
I
think when we started talking about recording equipment again.
I mean, I was probably making short points, and then it turned into another different conversation that varied. This is what happens.
I noticed that during my, since I started streaming a lot and doing like with voice on, like having conversation with people,
right?
I've gotten better with the ums and stuff. So I've gotten better since we started recording the podcast as well.
I think in doing the podcast over the years, I have learned I've been more sensitive to my habits. When it doesn't matter, the ahs, whatever, off the top of my head, someone puts me on the spot. I don't really care. I'm not sensitive to it. But when the mic is there, it's interesting what comes off the top of my head without any preconceived, prepared thoughts or notions about it. And I've had interviews before, like on the radio interviews, and it's interesting just what I said right in the moment when I was asked a question. Obviously, you get a sense of framing of why you're there and why you're having a conversation, why you're being interviewed. So when I've been on symposiums and stuff like that, like, okay, so I have an area where my brain is in a certain mode, and I'll have a conversation, and I don't have any sort of preconceived points in my head. But it's interesting what comes off the top of it, and how, like, sometimes I nail it without knowing or had any thought about it. I'm just giving, right off the top of my head. So, Oz will come out.
Yes, and they will come out of the edit. They'll be destroyed.
It'll be interesting what's missing there.
What?
Okay, so anyhow, let's get back on track. So, where were we going? What were we doing?
Bought
See, we
a
talked about
Cintiq,
Cintiq for a while.
Got a sold the old one. What else? Yeah, I don't know. Not much happened since. I think I've been waiting for this to happen, and so I can continue certain things, certain projects. And
for me, I have some income that I can spend, but I am not spending it for reasons to be discussed, maybe likely later, and so a lot of that was so that I would have opportunity later to sort out some new things, buy some toys, and not toys, but things that are going to be an improvement iterations for me in my sort of office workflow, editing workflow, little things like that. And it's all very important, but I have money I need to hold on to right now. And there are things that are budgeted to be next that are more important than me buying a new monitor and an ATEM Mini Pro and a bunch of new mounts. And I've already looked at the numbers in the budget, so I have a pretty good idea what that all looks like.
Yeah, I could buy the stand right now if I wanted to. It's just that I've been getting used to this tablet as it is right now, and just it feels correct as it is. So I've been using the Cintiq 16, and it also doesn't have like a rotating screen, right? The angle is different because I could make it right up. But I kind of like this angle as it is right now. It kind of works. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I got used to it. We'll see.
I think it always happens to be with new gear. You get comfortable with something a certain way. Okay, so this is not to talk about the car so much, but one of the little nice things it has is you sit in the vehicle, you set up your profile for the person, you adjust your mirrors, you go ahead, you adjust your seat, and I had been really driving too much because there's just for reasons, and there's a lot of working at home. But somewhere in the week, I was like, I totally adjusted my right mirror, and I totally adjusted my seat, and then I saved it as a new profile. So I was very comfortable with the way it was when I picked up the car, with very little adjustment. And now it dramatically seemed to be an issue for me. So it's just like anything you're going to get to a moment where, though, your tablet it's comfortable now, and then one day you're going to be like, I don't like this anymore, and you're going to make an adjustment. And that's probably when you're going to say, all right, I'm buying the stand.
Or buying the 32-inch one.
Oh, don't do that.
Oh, that would have been so much too big.
That's another 4-year wait time project.
I don't think so. But it's like it's another like $1,200 to get that one. Like if I were to sell this one and then buy the 32, well, that's too much. Oh well. Anyway, so we've also been watching the same show, I guess.
So I've been watching. Have you been watching the classic? Because I've been watching Atlantis.
Yeah, I've been watching Atlantis because you talked about watching Atlantis. So I was like, okay, I'll just pick that one up again.
Yeah, I'm into the 4th season.
Oh, I'm in like the last part of season 3.
Yeah, I have been I was watching it fairly religiously in my evenings to sort of pad out my night, and I watched I watched an episode last night, and it's one of those things where they're like sort of tension holding you for, let's say it's a 43-minute episode. They're tension holding you for 32 of those minutes. So I kind of skipped through it because I was tired and I had patience for it, and I knew what was going to end up.
We should probably say
anyways.
what show we're watching because.
So Stargate Atlantis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was watching it fairly religiously and sort of in the evenings. Not necessarily for the point of us having this conversation, but it was just more for me. And
well, I asked you to check if it was on Prime for you because this is on Prime for me. I had to go rip my DVDs to disc so I could watch it because I don't have a DVD player.
Oh really?
Yeah.
No, I got ones that are collecting dust.
Well, I have like a PS3.
Blu-ray too.
I have PS3. I can use that.
Yeah.
But I'm not hooking that. I'm not watching this show like while I need to be doing something else while I'm watching this show, right?
Yeah, I got you. I have the same problem. For me, it's been Animal Crossing and Atlantis, or Community and Atlantis, or some other Netflix thing in Atlantis, or YouTube, and whatever. I keep saying Atlantis. I meant Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing and something else. Animal Crossing and something else. So while I'm doing the one, I'm doing the other. I get a couple shows in, for my night.
Kind of sad that they only made like 5 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, it got canceled. And I got, what was happening is this was a shared production or shared cost production between the Canadian Broadcast Communications Company, or CBC. I don't know what the acronym. I know it's Canadian Broadcast Company. I think maybe that's what it is. Mm-hmm. And the Sci-Fi Network in the U.S., which is a cable network, which is owned by
shows.
Yeah, I mean, in their early days, they made really bad shows on a budget, and then eventually there was a short period of time where they made good shows on a good budget. And then they did this. Oh, well, CBC wants to share some costs, so we'll both make better productions together. Except that the Sci-Fi Channel basically put in the least amount of cash. I think they might have had a bigger network, possibly. Maybe they had the leverage in that point. And then when all the costs are on them, they're like, cancel, cancel, cancel. And the kind of shows that they did keep around were basically every episode is a bottle episode kind of show. Inset.
Magicians and such crap.
Killjoys that apparently stayed around for a while. I didn't really like it. My roommate liked it.
I watched one episode. I was like, nope.
Yeah, I was more interested in what was it? I want to say Dark Matter. I think that was a show. I thought that was a better show. But that was also one of those everything's a bottle episode, mystery episode.
Yeah.
There's very little. Everything was just a very set driven thing. And then if you go check the location and stuff, I think it was another CBC shared production.
Well, okay.
I was gonna say we got Stargate out of this.
Yeah.
As a result.
Well, it was like 10 seasons of Stargate, and then Stargate Atlantis had like 5, and then they had Stargate Universe, which is basically their Battlestar Galactica style show.
Yeah, I mean, there were some parts of it that were frustrating. There were some things that were interesting about it. I think there was some potential there. It got canceled by the second season. And once they knew they were canceled and they knew what their run was, they started to do some really interesting things. Did they shortcut the ending in a way that was not the best? Yes, that's correct. But there were some really good, novel, good ideas in there. And
I really wish that Stargate Universe would have continued.
I agree.
Really
when
great.
They started doing the interesting things, I thought there was I would have wished for an Amazon Prime or a Netflix that would come around and say, okay, we'll take this from you. We will support you because we have more money than God.
Well, the thing with the Expanse that happened with the
Right. Yeah.
Expanse. And that
Exactly.
was
But
great.
we don't live in that. We live in that universe now. We didn't have that then,
Yeah.
and that's sad. I feel the same for Firefly, but also
Firefly.
those individuals also went on to do really awesome things in the
Yeah.
world. So anyhow, getting back on the train back on the rails. So we're watching Stargate Atlantis independently, and we weren't doing Zoom calls together, watching it together or anything like that. It was not a shared experience. So yeah, no, I think maybe there's a lot to Stargate, SG-1. There's a ton of it,
There's a
and
lot
I
of
know those. I know going back through those first seasons is going to be a bit painful. And maybe one day I will do it. I put them all in the queue to eventually sort of work my way through them. And over the years, I definitely have really favorite episodes. But in the same
the time loop
respect,
episode is the best.
oh
ever.
yeah, especially when he's golfing through the Stargate, the best.
Yep.
Oh, well, the 200 one is pretty good too. So anyhow, so the point is that even with watching early seasons of something that you really love, there's going to be painful moments, and you got to get past those to get to the good stuff that you were in love with. If you have watched it enough, you could probably just skip those painful moments, just bypass them altogether. But the point is that Atlantis is a pretty solid show from start to beginning. I haven't felt any painful moments really.
I do like the thing at the end of season 3, they kind of they nuke a few characters.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh yeah, sure. That I remember that being upsetting in the fandom.
yeah, but they got some really good people back for them in place, like the what's her face from Firefly.
Yeah, Jewel, Kaylee,
Yeah,
Doctor. I already forgot her.
and
name.
Carter.
Yeah, sure.
And Woolsey.
But even with Amanda tapping, there was Sanctuary. I think Sanctuary was in between all that. That was just not. She was basically a network player.
She got replaced by Robert Picardo at the end, which was was a good choice. They should have introduced him earlier. They should have put him as a regular cast member earlier, because he's a good one.
He's a good actor.
I've been watching Voyager for a few weeks.
Sure, yeah, Voyager. I mean, we all know. I'm sure that I recognized him when he showed up on Voyager, but for the most part, yeah, that's how I really know him. And he has shown up in all kinds of stuff. He's a good, character to introduce, a good actor to introduce for whatever character he's playing.
Yeah. As Woolsey, there's an episode where their city gets taken over by the original builders, and then they are attacked by somebody, and then there's a interaction between him and Richard Dean Anderson. It's
Colonel O'Neill.
Yeah. And then there's the humor in that, what he brought to SG-1. Later seasons in SG-1 were more serious, less fun, less funny. He brought that jokey style, I guess.
Yeah, I think he added his own kind of element that the show was needed. And this is the only kind of thing that I find a little irritating about SG-1. It's sort of this, it's like a nerds versus the jocks kind of component. That's a little irritating. We get it. We know you're smart. You have to constantly keep reminding us. I get it. We all get it. We understand. Got it. However, maybe through life when this was happening, I've felt this a lot in places where I've worked, where the culture has not always been positive, and there's this constant explaining yourself. And I just, at some point, I'm like, I've done this. You just aren't completing this circuit here. You didn't care when I gave you the answer. You walked away, and then you come back and you Google me again. And so, like, there's that little irritating thing I can relate to. It's a little bit more amplified in the stakes of everything that's happening here.
Hmm.
So I just find that, I don't know. I find that little part annoying, and now it's not that I'm sensitive to it, I'm aware of it. And this has been sort of an element about myself I've mostly eradicated. Internally and externally, So anyhow, it's just interesting to see that. That's probably one of the few unlikable things about the show.
What
For
those
me.
SG-1 or Atlantis? Because they do
Uh,
less of that in Atlantis, I think.
no, I thought that was. I've only been watching Atlantis lately, so I don't know about SG-1. We probably see maybe there's a ton of that with the Doctor. What's his face in Universe? I haven't rewatched that, so.
Well,
I
they
don't
do that.
really know.
They do that in every series. So there's a lot of like, oh well, make it so, right?
Yeah, I think.
But then there's
I think there
also
was
the
more.
opposite, right? So there's an episode where Rodney McKay, like the doctor in charge of the scientific stuff, blows up a solar system because he's too,
Right. Yeah.
he's too full of himself.
I think this is more of a McKay component. And then it's very much just singly a McKay component. Zelensky isn't like that so much. It's really just McKay as being sort of too smart for his own good, but also in the same respect, yeah, I know, scientists have to solve the problems, I'll fix it. That kind of attitude. I get it. I do. I totally get it. But also in the same respect, like, yeah, we all get it. Stop reminding us. It's a little quip that they could just completely remove. And because we see it and hear it so much, we'll know that it's missing. But if it was never really there that often, we would never notice or think of it that much. But it's
Also because
in.
you're watching episode after episode, it's a
Sure.
lot more noticeable. So.
Yeah, maybe you might be right about that. So anyhow, I don't recall remembering much of that for SG-1, but you might be right. It might be there. I don't really recall Carter being like that so much.
That was more Daniel.
Oh, okay. Sure. I guess so, but I don't really recall getting too annoyed about it. Maybe in those early seasons, maybe he's annoying about it. But in the later seasons, Daniel is like one of my favorite. Actually, they're all favorites, but yeah, I mean, Daniel is one of the more favorite characters. Dr. Jackson, I really enjoyed him as a component of SG-1. But anyhow, we're talking about Atlantis. Atlantis is a really good, solid sci-fi show. And it does extend into the larger SG-1 universe. It's a little less kitschy. It is more sci-fi. There's more sort of futuristic fiction stuff that's very refreshing. It's the kind of thing that there's like elements like I like about slightly more modern versions of Star Trek compared to like Next Generation. I mean, it's okay. So the comparative is like classic Star Trek and then Next Generation Star Trek, right? It's like night and day in feeling how the future actually feels modern.
Actually, what you could do is have the classic be Star Trek, like the original series, be like SG-1, then have Atlantis be Voyager.
Oh,
No,
right.
no,
So
no, 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 no. That wouldn't be
actually, the
Voyager.
better parallel would be the Next Generation and then Voyager.
Yeah, Voyager would be Universe.
Would Well, the point is that there's the sort of the statement before we sort of went off on this mini example of a tangent is that at least Atlantis feels like what we've now have kind of come to feel and hope that the future of these very technologically advanced ancients is it feels and looks like that. Where in SG1 it feels a combination of low budget to eventually better budget, but then better budget with gloss on it, to this sort of kitschy kind of feeling. The gold are tacky. I
Yeah.
mean, tacky. Tacky by every design. Ship design, internal, external. It's a whole Liberace factor everywhere. It's just gaudy. It's kitschy. But you come to accept it because it's a sci-fi show that
Yeah,
you
but
eventually
they killed
come
him
to.
off after season 5 or something like that.
Right,
So
I got
yeah.
that. So, but the point is that, like, did SG1, until they started getting their own ship making stuff, didn't really feel grounded into like what you would think or feel like what you hope the future would look like. But in Atlantis, you're just there immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to explore that. And I think that's the part that I like about my sci-fi. I want it to feel like, I want it to be sort of aligned with what I imagine it to be, or improve what I imagine it to be. And I think Atlantis does that very effectively. Stargate SG1, it didn't do anything more for me than let's say Next Generation did. I think Next Generation and all the branch series from that did a better job compared to the Stargate 1. But the thing that I got out of Stargate, SG1 was I guess maybe I got an equal, but I think I got more direct investment to the characters than I did, let's say, over Star Trek. There are certain people that I absolutely love in the Star Trek universe, in sort of the Next Generation branch of things.
But the thing
I
is,
think
if you look at like Stargate versus Star Trek, with Stargate there was more of an overarching like a story, like there was more of a thing that was they were going somewhere. With Star Trek, they were like, oh, mission of the week. I think that was 90% of that show was that. There was no like, there was the Borg stuff, right? There was a couple of episodes of the Borg, and then everything was back to normal. And they didn't do that with Voyager as much because they also did that with Voyager, the same thing. Maybe DS9 had a little bit more of that.
Yeah, so I think the point that I was eventually getting into was related to this. So let's just take the Next Generation cast. So I am more invested in Data's storyline than I would be. So for example, Worf, I like him as a character. I don't hate him. Troy, Deanna Troy, all right, it's cool. The Doctor, meh, whatever, cool. Wesley Crusher, like, okay, cool. Picard, yeah, okay, cool. Geordi, yeah, cool. Data is who I liked a lot from that show, and he was the most interesting thing. Okay, Voyager. Do I care about? I can't even think of her name. I see her face in my head. The captain, meh, not really. Tupac, yeah, okay.
Did you just call him Tupac?
Probably Tupac.
Tuvok. Not Tupac. Tupac has he raps.
I know. Yeah, it's been a long time since I watched that show. Tuval.
You know what? I should, for the video version of this episode, I should just put like Tupac and Tupac on the same screen and just mash them.
Tuval. Yeah, okay. Was I interested in the whole marquee thing? Yeah, kinda, not really. 7 of 9 was a character that I was most interested in, and maybe Tom Paris a little bit.
The Doctor episodes.
What was it? The engineer. I'm trying to remember
B'Elanna?
his name. No, not B'Elanna. Right, the whole marquee stuff. No, the Tom Paris's best bud.
Harry Kim.
Harry Kim. So, interested in those characters the most. The Doctor, right? Okay, Robert Picardo's character, right? So, more completely was I invested in Voyager's cast, more so than I was completely invested in Star Trek, Next Generation's cast. Now, with that said, I'd spent plenty of time with them, so I loved them all for all good and bad. But I was more interested in very specific characters about Voyager, regardless that the cast is smaller. I was more invested in those character things and DS9's characters than I was in, completely as all of Next Generation. And so one of the things that I get out of SG1 and Atlantis is I'm pretty invested in all the characters.
Yeah.
Pretty almost completely.
Well, when you look at those shows, there's like a couple of characters that are like the main cast or like the leads or the people that the story is about. So you could say like Data is a very big component of like the Next Generation.
Yeah.
Voyager, there's a couple of characters that are like the main characters that are like where everything revolves around. But if you look like it's Stargate, there's like the main team for Stargate SG-1 is those four, right? That's what the story is about, and that's the point of view you get the most. But for like Atlantis, you had McKay, and you had what's his face?
Shepard.
I mean, mostly McKay. When I think about it.
Well, in the later episodes, there's a little. I think they got away with what I'm glad, which is sort of the challenging Shepard's decision making because of something historically related to his past of some military issue where everyone agrees with him, but they didn't like what he did. Kind of.
That's why I was so happy they got rid of Weir. It's like, why are you complaining about this? He's saving the fucking city for the 10th time.
Yeah. But, McKay does the same thing. It's another version of that later, right? It's always McKay's solves the problem.
Yeah, but
last second.
That's like when I look at the show, it's like, it's the McKay and Shepard show. Right?
And I'm okay with it.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
If we get some Taylor episodes, we get some Ronan, Dex episodes. I enjoy that. Look, I love the fact that that's my introduction to Jason Momoa, and he's gone off to do other things in the world.
Yeah,
and he's still a pretty cool badass.
A season of Game of Thrones, you mean?
Well, yeah, sure, but he played an important but very temporary part in Game of Thrones. So the funny thing is, whoever plays John Shepard, whoever that actor is, I think he was talking about there was a moment where when he was new to the cast, there was this moment where Jason Momoa, they told him, okay, you need to go to the left and you need to jump over that thing and go, and you're chasing after this character. And he went and he just executed beautifully first take and then again and again and again for them. And he's like, I could never do that. I could never jump over that humongous tree that was fallen and chase that actor, right? And, Jason Momoa was just like a badass. He's like, okay, and did it. The kind of Ronan Dex, sort of character that you see is just sort of badass and capable. Apparently that's Jason Momoa down to a T.
If you listen to the... I've listened to a lot of the commentaries for every single episode of SG-1 in Atlantis. And there's a lot of fun stuff in there about the behind the scenes stuff. So you should probably have a look at that. The name of the guy that plays John Shepard is called Joe Flanagan.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
He also did a TV like a directed TV movie. A while back, and I watched it. It was like really, really bad.
Yeah, I don't know.
After Stargate stopped, it was like.
David Hewlett. So first, the one thing I love about David Hewlett is I've never met him, but I was watching his YouTube channel for a while, and he shows up in other CBC productions every once in a while. He showed up in Dark Matter as like a side role for something.
Yeah.
He So he plays this sort of cantankerous, annoying character all the time in places. But no, he as like a human is like a pretty awesome person.
Have you seen him in? Have you seen that movie with the cube? Whatever.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he's like one of the. He's like he's. I think he's like naked in it. It's like a
No,
really
I
weird.
don't know. I don't know.
They
But I
also
mean,
made a separate movie called The Dog's Breakfast.
yeah, I watched that movie. It's weird.
It's weird.
He wrote it or directed it or something.
Yeah.
And so there's like, okay, so there are lots of little trivia moments, and it's also funny, when I've seen McKay's sister show up, but that's his actual, David Hewlett's actual sister. So there's lots of little things that, like, you just notice over time. Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think Stargate Atlantis is not the place you start with the whole SG universe. But in the same respect, I think it's probably the best sort of self-contained sort of SG series because we don't really have that many.
Yeah.
And then SG-1 itself, I think there's the good part and the bad thing about SG Stargate, so the main series is there's lots of little things that are littered out through, well, course of 10 years? I mean, they think the time frame is long enough, but I think there's 10 seasons of it. There are a lot of things that are trickled in there that I think they were just sort of said offhand in the conversation that they probably were never intending to reconnect a later connection to it and build some kind of past and future storylines to. But there's a ton of those that happen in those early seasons where when you see them in, season 6 or whatever, if you didn't know about its reference in season 1, it was fairly innocuous. But it's more interesting when you have a more complete picture. But I can't say, and I definitely will probably go back and rewatch them. I am pretty sure that those first probably 3 or 4 seasons, probably the first 2 seasons, maybe the first 3 seasons are kind of painful.
The first season is painful. The second season is less so. It starts off pretty quickly with the lore, like the background and the ancients and stuff like that. So the first season is pretty bare about that stuff. That's the season where they have episodes with the white fungus people. Like remember that episode? It's like they have these singing people.
Oh
the Blue Man Group, but like totally painted white.
Yeah.
That was weird. That was weird.
Yeah, I mean, we had lots of weird SG-1 episodes, but then there were some really amazing, good episodes, especially when you feel more completely invested in the characters. You will feel very invested in what is going on.
Have you seen that show that did pretty recently? I think it was 2018 or something. Stargate Origins.
It sounds familiar. Was this
like a web series? Yeah, I think so.
I think I did watch it. I don't have much recall on it.
It was like with the woman who was in the Stargate movie. It's like the old woman in the Stargate movie, but like the younger.
Right,
like,
and they went back.
They went back to the 40s when they discovered the gate.
Recall it. Yeah, I vaguely recalled it. I did watch it. I don't really. Again, like I said, it's very vague in my brain.
Yeah, I couldn't get through it. It was not interesting. It was also there were like 10-minute episodes, like 10 episodes of 10 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's like Firefly. Our time has gone and passed. And that's sad, but that's probably the case.
Well, we get good series like Expanse.
Sure.
Like, they're based on a book series, so that's more likely to stick around and be good.
So if we had a conversation about Firefly coming back and existing, everyone's career was mostly still pretty hot. But now mostly everybody from that cast's career is fairly tepid. it's just not.
Well,
There's not a lot of much of anything going on.
I think that Shepherd Book guy who played him, he was dead. He's dead, right?
Yeah. Ron Livingston. No, not Ron Livingston. Ron something. I thought. Without looking it up. Yeah. So he's gone. The preacher.
Yeah, but
and
he also died in the movie. So.
Yeah, but he died in real life, and he was a really kind of vital good component. He definitely completed that circuit. Yeah.
And Alan Tudyk got killed in the movie, so.
Yeah, but he wanted to be killed off because he was his career path was going in a direction that he felt he would be basically just sort of stuck, locked in the Firefly universe if he didn't look to have a different career. And most of it is voice acting. He does a ton of voice acting.
Yeah, he's on. I think he's in Rick and Morty. He does a couple of voices in Rick and Morty.
Okay.
This is like really funny when you see his name show up and stuff.
Yeah. So he's got that sort of whole lifeline for him, and I'm not sure that he wants to disrupt that. But you could bring back. I mean, where's Adam Baldwin? We haven't seen Nathan Fillion. We haven't seen Jewel. She showed up in.
You haven't
Atlantis,
seen Nathan Fillion? He has like a couple of shows.
Does he really?
Yeah, he does.
Castle's over.
Well, he started the Recruit or something like that. It's like.
Oh, okay. So I don't know that one.
Yeah, it's another cop show.
Okay. And I'm trying to think who else. Gina Bellows. Is it Gina Bellows? Am I getting that name right? She played Alan Tudyk's wife. So her career is still kind of semi alive.
Yeah. So The Rookie, that's what it's called.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know that I know it. I mean, I know that I don't know it. I never heard of it.
So Nathan Fillion has been around. So he's been doing a lot of stuff. But the guy that played the rough
Adam Baldwin's character who played
Adam
I can't think of his name.
Alec?
Is it? No, it's Adam, and he's not an actual Baldwin. He just has the same last name.
Oh wow!
He's not a cousin or a family member or anything like that. He's not one of the Baldwins.
Didn't he play? Did he also do like something in X-Files? Wasn't he like one of those?
No idea.
Robot guys?
Nope. Don't know. Don't know his filmography. Anyhow, that was so we've gone off a lot of tangents. So, again, Atlantis, good show, I think. I haven't gotten to how it ends in season 5. I'm probably sure whatever my disappointment was at the time when it happened in real life, I'll probably have the same disappointment that, there's no more Atlantis. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm remembering. I'm starting to remember how it ends. It's also disappointing that the universe is over too. It's also disappointing we don't have any more Stargate. I mean, we do spend so many hours with this stuff, and you enjoy it so thoroughly, or reasonably thoroughly, and then you have no more of it. And then you start seeking, well, what's next? I'll tell you, it's not Space Force.
Well, definitely not Space Force. Do you know that there's a comic that finished up Universe?
Oh, okay. Well, I know at the time the same thing with like Buffy and same thing with like Firefly. A lot of these, the people who retained rights to the material, they took. The comic industry wasn't really. The comic industry was sort of original content all the time, but then they got in this period of time, I don't know, maybe about 10 years ago, especially when all these things were sort of dying off or their storylines or their shows were being canceled or in the, potential to be canceled. The certain comic companies were going off and launching extended storylines for Firefly and Buffy the Vampire Slayer and
Stargate
and Dollhouse and I guess Stargate. I guess now I'm knowing about this, and plenty of Star Trek stuff, and that was just good income for the people who are the rights holders. Right? So yeah, it's not surprising to hear that. and that aligns with the time frame of when that was a popular way of doing things. Yeah. I mean, it's not like they're bad storylines and they don't deserve to be a comic. But I'm used to the world where DC or Marvel made their own. They made their own comics, their
You know,
own content,
when you
and
look at
they
DC
didn't.
and Marvel, it's usually like superhero stuff, right? And
Right?
I
Yeah.
don't want to watch superhero stuff. I don't want to read superhero stuff.
Yeah.
It's not my thing. I like these shows, and if they were to get the quality of like the artists that I know that are working on some of those things, like if they could get that for like shows like Stargate and stuff like that, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I mean, and they definitely had that with like Star Wars, right? There's plenty of books and there's plenty of additional content that you can consume.
Let me see if what the quality, what the comic looked like for Stargate Universe. Oh wow, yeah, no, I feel sorry for those. Yeah,
Usually, these sort of extended storyline comics, and I have no opinion because I've not seen what these things look like. Usually, it's. I mean, there's no budget really. It's like, okay, we'll license you to do this as a comic, and this is how much money we get from it, and they go off and they do whatever. I don't know that there's much approval cycle in there.
yeah, this is bad.
So the interesting part of this for me, when I think about it, so does Dom DeLuise sound like familiar? I don't even know if he's alive.
He was on Stargate, right?
Once or twice, but he's a known sort of comedic actor in movies. I guess somewhere in the 80s.
Wasn't there like a similar character in Atlantis at some point? It was
Possibly.
like the guy that was irresistible.
Oh, that's Alan. Alan. I know his first name is Alan. He was on a particular TV show where he was really known for. I want to say Rick, but that's not. Maybe Rickman? Alan Rickman? That's not right.
No, that's not
I was not prepared to have this conversation. But yeah, no, the guy with who's the con artist. Yeah. No. So anyway, Dom DeLuise was someone of notable movie comedic actor. In maybe not the best movies in the world, but definitely in the 80s. And so he was sort of a known actor. So his kids took up acting a little bit, and they're the ones who made SG-1 a TV series, or at least the eldest son. Did.
Oh, okay.
That's why when they had that sort of knockoff SG-1 series, and there's the guy who's playing Jack O'Neill equivalent.
Yeah.
That's what Dom DeLuise. I think that's his youngest son.
I didn't know they were related, but that kind of makes sense now when I think about it.
Yeah, because Dom DeLuise's oldest son is like executive because he had some kind of connection, whatever it is, but he sort of went and got the rights away from the guys who wrote the original movie. And look, I think if you look at it, if you took those guys who wrote the original movie and they turned this into a TV series, the show would not be the same.
No, definitely not. They wanted to redo the series based on the original movie. Recently, they wanted to do like a new show, like I think it was like I think it was even with Ronald Emmerich, like the guy who came up with the movie, that he directed it, right? He's like really into like the aliens thing. When you think about it, when you watch that movie and you see the guy that plays that guy on Blacklist, like that's the same guy. The guy that plays Daniel in the movie is the same guy that plays.
I like him as an actor. I don't think he was the greatest. In hindsight, I like the TV series Daniel Jackson better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. James
I
Spader.
think James Spader. Yeah, I didn't like him as that Daniel Jackson in the movie, to be honest. And it's only because I have an alternative that I like better,
Hmm.
right? Otherwise, I would probably have no opinion about it because there would be nobody to compare it to.
So, and the he's also the voice for Ultron, right? Yeah, he
Oh,
is.
is
Yeah,
he?
he is. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
It's
that
just so
makes sense.
it's so funny that he's like, it's like when they let him like do his thing, like when he's like doing the stories, like in the Blacklist. It's like he did just let him talk. I think sounds like he did the same thing. I think in Ultron, it's like a lot of talking. He like tells his little story. He's like a very good way of delivering those kinds of things.
He as a human is a bit of a unique kind of character.
Hmm.
So that translates very well into the characters that he does acting for.
Yeah, it's like Robert Downey Jr.
Or Christopher Walken.
Okay.
Right? There's only they as or Jack Nicholson as humans. They or Bill Murray. They can deliver a character differently than uniquely because as humans they're celebrated for their uniqueness, and then they bring that to a character that if you or I did it, let's say we were wonderful actors, or Ron Livingston comes to mind because I don't know why I recalled his name. We were talking about Book. Uh, so anyhow, the point is that like if Jack Nicholson does that character, it's gonna be different than Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Just is, and they're both polar in terms of sort of their uniqueness as characters and character actors. So
Hmm.
anyhow, so we talked a lot, not with any kind of focus, or we had some bullet points, and they got shot all over the place.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
We
It's
threw
only
some
like a
we threw
2 hour
some
show.
Wacom tablets through the Stargate and ended up somewhere on a different location.
Yeah. What was that gate address? I don't know. Yeah.
Random gate address.
Yeah, yeah. So I think if you're looking for a sci-fi series, Stargate Atlantis is pretty good. I can't look at it from a perspective of someone who is not informed by the larger Stargate universe and most of its details and most of its idiosyncrasies and all the little particulars. I will say, though, part of the last SG1 series, I do enjoy how we got a lot of that Ori origin stuff. I think that was really good. When was it Claudia Black showed up?
Yeah, she was
added
good. She was good.
she had a real lot of good, interesting element.
I did not
Uh,
like the Colonel O'Neill replacement.
I didn't like him as much, but I grew to like him.
Yeah.
He provided his own kind of mechanism, his own kind of thread lines to it.
Yeah. Well,
So
he tried to do a lot of imitations of Richard Dean Anderson.
he was not Colonel O'Neill.
No,
But at that
he was
point,
like trying to imitate that style, right? So there was a lot of that in that character, basically, and it didn't work.
I think what you get is I don't know when. Let's say he shows up on season 6. I don't know, maybe season 7. I don't know when exactly. I can't recall
Later,
exactly
I
when
think,
he.
but
But you had spent basically 7 seasons with Colonel O'Neill. It's kind of like you find a Data replacement. You spent a lot of time with Data. Anybody who is not Data is not Data.
it's like that
Right?
one
In your
one
brain,
season when they removed
your
the
brain,
doctor,
anybody
replaced the
who.
doctor.
Hmm?
It's that one season when in Star Trek: The Next Generation we replaced the doctor.
Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah.
Polanski, I hated her. I just didn't like her as a character, period. I don't know about her as a human. As her character, I disliked her. And maybe that is because we spent so much time with Dr. Crusher. But I thought she was a better rounded character. Polanski was just, I don't know. I don't think she fit into that sort of overall. She really just didn't have any meaningful connection to anybody, I think. And then the only reason they did that was because Gates McFadden, the actress, was looking for more money. And she basically took a risk, negotiated herself out of the scenario because she just wanted to make more money, a lot more money. And she stood her ground. And when there was nothing else for her to do in terms of jobs, she came back begging, and that's how she showed back up on the show. And you know what? She had it locked down. She was too, she's Dr. Crusher and Wesley Crusher as a character. Like, she probably thought that she was invincible. Now, I don't know how much more she was asking for. I have no idea. I don't know the particulars. But I know that's what happened, and that's why she disappeared. And now she's back in the good graces of everyone, but it's because she begged for it. That's what I understood.
You think she's going to show up for
in Picard
season 2?
I wouldn't be surprised. We know that Will Wheaton, I think did you say that he said that he wasn't interested in being in the show, but that's why he was doing these after shows?
I don't think I didn't say anything about that.
I thought I heard somebody say that.
Wasn't me?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I heard that. Okay, so let's talk about some links. Do you want to do some links?
Hey, it's you for a change.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's just because
usually I'm the one cutting off the conversation.
It's fine. You should leave it raw. Just leave it. Why waste 9 hours? It's all the same tangent. What are you gonna? You will never let me edit it anyways. So, all right. So I got a link here. The Cheerio effect. Polymatic.link/UC. It's interesting. It's something sciencey.
Cheerios in a bowl of milk.
No, I want Cheerios. I don't have Cheerios. I have Chex. That's all I got.
Well, something food related as well. Chocolate holograms. Polymatic.link/EU4.
I'm not going to be doing it, but I thought about it. Okay, so Cybertruck. Okay, yeah, I know that's like a couple months ago or last year or whatever. Who cares about Cybertruck? So Jay Leno, in his later years, is doing something. I guess it shows up on like actual cable network or TV show somewhere. I don't know, but I see clips of things on YouTube. And this is a full-length show of Jay Leno. If you don't know who he is, talk show host in the U.S., was a talk show host. He took over when Johnny Carson left. Again, history aside, and known for that and being a comedian in the past, and still does stand up. Regardless of that, guy's very wealthy, and he's got his own garages. I mean, literally warehouse-sized garages, and he loves cars. I mean, we're talking all the way back to like, first electrics and steam powered, and he has like at least one full-time mechanic he pays for. The guy is so wealthy that he just loves everything about cars. So, with that said, they've sort of given him a show where he kind of drives cars and shares his enthusiasm. And he did an episode with Elon Musk and the Cybertruck.
Yeah.
So if you want to know a little bit more aside from every YouTuber's marketing material version of what they know about the Cybertruck, here's a video for you. Polymatic.link/U9.
Okay, next video is a mangaka tries a Cintiq Pro. It's actually pretty funny when you watch it. Have you watched it?
Yeah.
Yeah. They got a special eyeglasses cleaner for with the Cintiq Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Polymatic.link/U5.
Yep. All right, so I've sort of an animated sci-fi thing. It's not that long. It's less than 9 minutes. Polymatic.link/UA called Spice Frontier. I thought it was well done. Is it? It's well done. I would say that. It's worth watching. It's not even 9 minutes long.
Then there is a slightly not safe link. Polymatic.link/U6. It's about the color noise issue with the Cintiq 24. Basically, when you have like a screen that has like this matte finish, then the pixels below it will be slightly blurry, or they'll go rainbowy on you. And there's some other issues with the Cintiq 24, and that is very colorfully described by the person who made this video.
Yeah. Especially the remote.
What?
Yes, the remote or whatever, the Bluetooth thingy.
Oh, it was actually more talking about the stand.
Oh, yeah. That was Polymatic.link/U6. Did your screen protector fix that problem for
Yes.
you? Okay, interesting. Okay, so for those who always wondered should or should they not buy the better XLR cables, well, someone went and did a little research. Actually, this guy, if you're interested in audio gear and general podcasting stuff, he does a pretty good, reasonably thorough sort of test trials on gear to give, insight if you're shopping. But anyhow, polymac.link/UB, and I just labeled it expensive XLR cables. Are they worth it? I don't know. Go watch the video, and this person will tell you what they think.
I've linked this guy before, Thomas Sundlander. He has a YouTube channel about 3D printing and making and things, and he's doing a 3D printing basics series. So polymac.link/U7 for the first episode. I think he's gotten a few episodes up already, so you should probably go check it out if you're new to 3D printing, or if you haven't gotten anything about 3D printing. It's just like the basic start. Here you start. He explains the basics for you. Polymac.link/U7 for that.
Yeah, it's pretty thorough. It's pretty good. Okay, so this is just a Animal Crossing article that I saw someone shared, and so I'm sharing the article with you, which does lead to some videos. Thought it was pretty interesting. Did you look at this?
I didn't look at the article. I did look at the video. I thought you were making the video, so.
Yeah. So polymatic.link/U8. I think that's supposed to take it to the article.
But I scrolled down for the video because
right. You just watched the video.
So
that's someone
in
turned
my
their
link,
island into an obstacle course, basically, which is kind of cool, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was Polymatic.link/U8. In the recent few days, there's been some ominous sounds in San Francisco, and they're coming from the Golden Gate Bridge. Polymatic.link/UD for a Twitter video.
Yeah, it was
it's
interesting.
If you hear that kind of sound, it's like, is this guy going to come down on us now?
Yeah, it feels like it.
Are the aliens landing?
If it's not melting us, it's thrashing us with lots of winds and rain, and then taking out our power around here.
There was there's another video like in a response to this one, I think.
Yeah.
There's like with some people riding in a little car on the actual bridge where you hear it and so freaking loud. So yeah, that's kind of a mistake somebody made in the design of that thing.
Yeah,
well, not in the bridge, but the new railings that they put up.
Yeah, I don't know. You'd want to drive fast and over that thing quickly if you're driving over it when that's happening.
Yeah, they really didn't think this through.
Yeah.
You'd think that like when they're placing those things, they would notice the sound, right? And they would stop.
I don't know. I mean,
maybe it's just a wind direction thing that they.
I know that
everything.
they do projections and simulations and stuff because they've learned their lessons over the many years when they do bridge design. They want to make them pretty sturdy, and they want to make them, earthquake proof and weatherproof and windproof and sustain, crazy tornadoes and whatnot. And I know that, they don't expect a tornado to come through San Francisco, so their focus is on earthquakes and heavy winds.
Yeah. Well,
but
this was wind related, so they did put these things on to reduce the drag, I think, on the bridge from the wind. But
my point is that, do they consider what the acoustics would be and care when they're doing this stuff to the railings. I don't know. I don't know that they did such a thorough engineering simulation
even if you
on
put
it.
them up, right? So if you're going to put up one of these things on the bridge and it starts whistling, you think that like somebody would say, "Oh, wait, maybe we should like discuss this."
Well, construction crews aren't going to be out there when the winds are crazy.
Yeah. But still, they wouldn't have been able to do this in like one day. And they're not going to replace all the railings.
I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm far from an expert on the subject. But my point was maybe they just didn't think to be as particular or thorough about sort of their engineering understanding and simulations of it comparatively when they originally designed the bridge. So.
Yeah. Anyway, Polymatic.UD for those ominous sounds. The aliens are coming. Ooh.
Yeah, so I'm sure somebody's sampling it.
Yeah.
Show up in a movie coming.
Actually, it sounded like
you soon.
there was this meme going around of some sort of. This sounds like one of those alien movie type deals, right? So it kind of sounds like when there's like aliens coming through the clouds and stuff like that. It kind of sounds like that, like in a movie. Yeah. So there was a hoax thing a while back where there were trumpets in the sky. Sounds like trumpets. Kind of sounds like this. So yeah, I don't know. Kind of funny that they. It was pretty easy for them to figure out what the problem was. There was lots of people posting. There was actually trending this morning. Golden Gate was trending this morning on Twitter because of this. So Alan, Where can they find you on the internet?
If you really have to, you can find me on Twitter with my last name, CHAESS.
Okay, you can find me on Twitter at WebDevy, WEBDEVVIE. For feedback, you can reach us at podcast@Polymatic.media. Our music is by Seyuns, which you can find at Polymatic.EK. Our Twitter's The Polymatic. Our website is Polymatic.media, and I hope you tune in next time.